Hey, it is your old pal here, the Obscurist Tourist, and today I come to you from across the pond, sunny Europe. Yeah, well, it wasn't so sunny here over the past week, but today it is. I am in Scandinavia, and more specifically, I am in Copenhagen, Denmark. And this wall right here, on the other side of that wall, is one of my favorite things in all of Copenhagen, and that is the Assistens Cemetery, otherwise known as the Assistens Cemetery. And there are some really, really cool graves here. The grounds itself is absolutely stunning, amazing, a little bit creepy, but there are a few graves in here that I think that you would be very interested in seeing and knowing a little bit about. So we are going to go in and explore this amazing place here in Copenhagen, Denmark. Let's go. So this is one area of the cemetery, and here's the cemetery map. And where are we on this map? We are right here. And this actually is much larger than it looks. But I looked here yesterday, and I couldn't find two of the names out of the three cemeteries, the three graveyards that I'm actually trying to find. But one of them you may recognize right here. Look at that. H.C. Andersen. You know who that is? Hans Christian Andersen, the author, the fairy tale author of such wonderful stories like The Little Mermaid. So we will try to see what we can find here. How wonderful is this place? So this cemetery was actually, I don't know, can you call it established, or the first person was buried here way back in 1760. That is a very European thing. Really old cemeteries. One of my favorite things about Europe. Mostly, you're getting cemeteries in Canada and the US right around early 1800s. But for the most part, not a lot of 1700s cemeteries. So much history here. Like, let's look at this one. What year did this person die? This one, not that old, 1899. Can I make out the name? Caroline Witsu. And right over here, I can't tell if this is an old grave, perhaps, maybe even the foundation of a mausoleum, but it is just an empty concrete sarcophagus right now. And along with these old cemeteries, they haven't really been either grave robbers back in the day, or something, or just time, and who knows what. But this one is missing the top part of its cross. This person was buried here back in 1855. More super old graves, unmarked, or is it unmarked? Very hard to see. You can see somewhat some etchings in there, but overall cannot figure out who's buried there or when they were buried there. I love the ivy that grows in some of these old cemeteries here in Europe. Not sure if this was an old mausoleum, a little tiny mausoleum, but there's nothing there now, just foundation, some stones. With old graveyards, you also get old trees. Look at this clunker. An absolutely beautiful, beautiful piece of nature right here in the heart of Copenhagen. Have no idea what this thing is, but holy heck, it sure does look old. It's about 10 times as wide as me, and I'm pretty wide. I saw this one on the walk-in. This is the grave of Peter Haber, and one of the most interesting things about this is the little tiny, look at that, little mourning bench right there inside of his enclosed burial site. Just so beautiful in here. Again, you can see the top half of this is missing. I can see the top half of that tower is broken off. Not a terribly old gravesite, but, you know, old enough for someone to either break something off it or steal it. And this gravestone is actually one of the oldest I've seen thus far. Gertrude Hansen, born 1774 and died in 1838. Doesn't look that old. There's a lot of gravestones here that look way older, unless this one had been completely destroyed and they had it rebuilt. Very cool though. And right here, I'm actually shocked I found it. It was a lot easier to find than I expected. But this is the grave of Gertrude Bodenhoff. And like all old graveyards, one must have a fantastic ghost story. And I'm not sure about the supposed haunting that this particular grave and the person buried in it commits here in the cemetery, but the story is tragic and quite shocking. But it was here in 1798 that Gertrude Bodenhoff, also known as Gertrude Rosted, who was married at the age of 17 and widowed by the age of 19. And the story goes is that she underwent some sort of procedure and was buried alive when she was put under anesthesia, and the doctors assumed that she had died. And you know what? In fact, she was still alive. If buried alive wasn't a nightmare enough, the fact that some grave robbers dug her still breathing, still alive body up right here and murdered her. So can you imagine? She died twice in one day, once by accident, once actually diagnosed accidentally as a death, and the second time for real. And I'm sure that her corpse and her soul is very angry about what happened that day. But here it is. quite surprising and shocking that there is such a large gravestone and monument to someone who died at the age of 19 years old. Quite amazing. What a cool story, though. And I am not an expert on Danish birds, but I have seen this one, and I don't know if it's a pigeon. It's a beautiful bird. I don't know if you can see it through there. It's got white wings. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? He knows I'm stalking him. See him? See him over there? He's got white wings and a blue... Look at him. He's just plopped away. It's a beautiful grave marker right here. Again, cannot make out who is actually buried here. It is... Oh, there it is right there. It's written... Christian something, Schmiekelo, 1849. Another one of my favorite things about this cemetery is there are so many Christians. I don't mean the religion, I mean the actual name, Christian. There are a plethora of Christians actually buried here. That's pretty cool. Hopefully I don't get buried here anytime soon to join the rest of them. What an absolutely amazing cemetery. Again, when I visit a lot of places, I don't do a lot of videos. In fact, I think I may have done one video about a cemetery in the past, but cemeteries are one of my favorite things to visit when I am away. So if I visit a city, a town, a hamlet even, I will find the local cemetery and take a little look-see around. This one is absolutely amazing. It's so massive and so beautiful from a natural aesthetic. Just so many trees everywhere. It's like you're walking through a forest, really. It's truly amazing. So our next stop today is going to be to find the gravesite of Hans Christian Andersen, which I believe is on the other side of this cemetery, so it's going to be quite a bit of a walk, but that's cool. I get to see a little bit more of what this cemetery has to offer. Pretty cool. So let's explore. And separating the two sides of the same graveyard is this right here. This church just sitting here. Very cool. I thought I saw a sign over here. We'll see if there it is. Look at that. I know I'm on the right trajectory. H.C. Andersen. And we'll just continue. And you know what? I always tell you about rules in other places, other countries. And one of them is the Scandinavians do not like you to cycle through public areas, especially cemeteries. I made that mistake last time I was here. Got a couple cut eyes, a couple evil eyes, so just got to be somewhat aware. I clearly wasn't last time I was here. This time, I'm a little wiser, a little older, so... Oh, not the Andersen we are looking for. Martin Andersen Nexo and Johanna Nexo, 1977 and 1954 burial dates respectively. Not the right ones, but we will continue on. And although you can't ride your bicycle through the cemetery itself, you can ride this bicycle specified path. Look at this. How cool is this? Just absolutely stunning. I wasn't completely sure if I was on the right track, but look at this. Another Hans Christian Andersen sign directing me to go left. So left I will go. Let's see if I can find this. Even with all the signage, I find I get confused a lot of times in these places. Look at this. There's another broken cross on the ground. I don't even see really is it over here? No, this one is so old that the etchings for whoever is buried here have been totally washed away by the elements. More gravestones, and the peace and tranquility of this cemetery is somewhat broken by the sounds of landscapers maintaining the grounds here. A little chainsaw action. Look at this. How cool is this gravesite? Pretty amazing. And I haven't seen a sign in a while, and then boom, guess what? Still going the right way. H.C. Andersen. Now I'm going right. I'm going left. I'm going right. I'm going straight. I'm going left again. It's kind of like a little labyrinth. And you've got to fandangle your way through. And again, another H.C. Andersen sign. That last sign directed me here, and I didn't see anything, but now, look at this. I don't know, I'm just terrible at directions, but it's telling me to go back the exact way I just walked, so perhaps, clearly, I missed the Hans Christian Andersen gravestone. It's one of the most famous gravestones in all of Denmark, so I thought it would really pop out to me, but clearly not. Continue on in our little search. I did miss it the first time because, you know what, look at this. It is right here, just kind of hidden behind this shrubbery. There it is. The gravestone of Hans Christian Andersen, 1805 to 1875. Very neat. Surprisingly inconspicuous for a famous grave. It's interesting because when I walked by this gravestone initially, there was nobody around it, which kind of threw me off. I expected exactly what's happened. About 30 seconds after I walked past it, just a lineup of people here in the Assistens Cemetery, just lining up to check out the final resting place of Hans Christian Andersen. Just when I think, well, that's it, I've exhausted my search here, the cemetery just keeps on going. It's quite amazing, the sheer size of this place. A friend of mine, the friend that happenstance would have it, that I am staying with here in Copenhagen, he lives right beside the cemetery, and he told me that he goes for an hour-long jog through this place every single morning. And that made me extremely jealous because I would love to have the opportunity of running through this place. It's just so absolutely beautiful. You know, might be a little bit creepy in the morning, but, you know, at the end of the day, this is just a beautiful, natural place, aside from all of the dead bodies. You know, if you're into dead bodies, I'm into graves. I don't know if I'm into dead bodies, but this seems like a really really awesome place to go for a jog in the morning. Wake yourself up, get the senses going, get the old noggin moving along just before work. Very cool, very jealous. Don't have anything like this in Toronto, that's for sure. So the last gravesite I am trying to find here today is the final resting place of Jacob Milling. Now, you might not know the name, but it is an interesting story. He is actually one of the victims of the Titanic sinking. He died in 1912, way over across the ocean, and his body was sent back to his home in Copenhagen, and he was buried in the cemetery. Kind of hard to figure out exactly where. He's not listed on any of the maps, but I know for a fact that he is buried somewhere in this part. It's just a matter of finding out where it is, and I'm not even sure if it will be marked correctly. So this could be all for naught, but hey, I am here. Let's give it a go. Apparently, Jacob Milling is buried in the G section of the cemetery, and I am guessing from the looks of the map, it should be somewhere around here, but I've been looking for quite a while and I haven't been able to locate it thus far. So we might have to go 2 for 3, which is not a bad percentage as far as looking for graves goes. So we shall see. But ideally, I'd love to bat 1,000 here and go 3 for 3 and find this grave. I'm making it a mission, but not looking likely at this point. Well, that is it for me. I had to capitulate and give up my search for Jacob Milling's final resting place, his gravestone, his grave marker. Very sad. A a victim of the infamous Titanic sinking back in 1912, brought back here and buried. So listen, if you come to Copenhagen and you come to the Assistens Kierkegaard, perhaps you can find it and you can send me some pictures of your find, because I'm sure, listen, I'll be a little bit jealous, but for now, I am giving up. I am continuing on in my little tour of Copenhagen. I absolutely love this city. I can't speak enough about how amazing this place is. Beautiful, beautiful people. Just awesome. For now, it is the Obscurist Tourist saying so long. Take care of yourselves. Stay beautiful. And stay hungry. Stay hungry. Yeah, let's keep it at that. For now, until our next adventure, see you later.